Good afternoon, all, and once again, welcome to an episode of Beth the Chef. Now, this is part two out of our 3 episodes highlighting game meats, and this week we're highlighting venison because it worked so well in the last episode of the. There was like a barbecue venison pie, little bit of Australian vibes there. We're going to go a little Mexican this week, um, and I just found the venison meat very tender in a pie, so we're keeping that idea, except we're doing venison mole. Now I'll explain further on in the episode exactly what a mole is, because I didn't know till wow, about a few years ago really, and it's a dish that not many people have heard of. But we're not going a traditional mole. Surprise, surprise. You know how my mind works now. So we're going to make it, but then treat it, I suppose, in the same way as like a cottage or shepherd's pie. Put it in the dish, pipe some nice smooth sweet potato mash on top, because as mentioned in the last episode, sweet potato works very well with game meat, and it works very well with chocolate, which I'll go through again why there's chocolate in it. And yeah, we're going to pipe it, make it look pretty, and it's going to be a venison mole pie. So yeah, we've got a fair bit to crack on with, but it is a very straightforward and simple dish to do. So yes, without further ado, let's go. So for those of you who don't know what a mole is, it's a Mexican dish, in a way like a Mexican stew, I guess. It's usually made with chicken thighs, because they're nice and succulent and tender, but also venison is. And in the sauce, there's some nice spices, cumin, which I love cumin. A little bit of chocolate, not too much, so I know what you're thinking. You might think, oh, it's going to taste like a dessert, but there's only a little bit of chocolate in it. Chilies, make it nice and warming, and almonds. Usually there's almonds in the sauce, but I'm actually going to toast some flaked almonds and put them on top of the sweet potato mash topping near the end, with some fresh coriander. Again, a little bit more of a punch, more texture to the dish. Right, so I've got everything gathered up to make the venison mole sauce, and as you can see, there are quite a lot of ingredients that go into it. So don't worry, I'll go through it all. We'll start with the board. Yeah. So just there, as you can see, it's a very lean meat. These are 2 venison steaks, just cut up into strips, and they're both 100 grams each. Now I've cut them up into strips because it will get very tender and it will break down a bit more in the process. One rather large garlic clove, just sliced. You can see there. I've just sliced up 1 red chilli. Not finely sliced, because it'd be nice to have a little bite, a little kick as you go through the pie. Usually it's raisins in a traditional mole, but I like apricots. I think it works better. So yeah, 30 grams of apricots here, just sliced. 1 red pepper, diced up. 1 white onion, again diced. And as you can see, not too much. 30 grams of dark chocolate. Now this is 50% dark chocolate. Richer, go more towards 70%. It's all preferences with taste, really. I've got some cream, so there's 80 mils of double cream here. There's a big teaspoon of ground cumin and just over half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Just gonna add about a tablespoon. Lime. Keep the other lime because you can char it and it just looks nice presentation wise, finishing the dish. So before we start, I blame the sheer amount of ingredients. You need 200 grams of chopped tomatoes as well. A bit of oil in the pan. In goes the venison. It doesn't take long, and once the meat is starting to brown, onions, peppers and garlic. And you don't have to like a traditional mole. That would be slow cooking for a fair bit of time. But you don't necessarily have to do too much for this dish, simply because it's going in the oven after, and it'll be a bit more slow cooking when it's in pie form as well. Okay. So I've added my spices, and as you can see, that will start to thicken it up a little. Turn the heat down a little. I've added the apricots. This smells awesome already. Incorporate your smooth peanut butter. Now I'll add lime juice. Add the chocolate and the tomatoes. And your chocolate will start melting there. Tablespoon of sriracha for a good kick. Season to taste. So I'm going to finish off with the cream, and then I'm going to taste the end result, see if it needs anything else, any more salt. And then we'll just leave it to one side and have a look into the smooth mashed topping. So for the mash topping, I've peeled and roughly chunked 3 medium-sized sweet potatoes, and later on we're going to do about even amounts of butter and cream in it, but again I'll go through it later on. And we're going to incorporate that. We want this to be very pipeable, almost like a pomme puree. So I've got a pan of water on, bringing it up to the boil. In the meantime, I've got into 2 dishes the venison mix. So what I'm going to do now is add the potatoes. And yeah, you know what you're looking for when boiling. It's nice and soft. We're just going to leave them be. Alright. So as you can see, I've strained that. Just popping it straight into the bowl. Mash up a bit. And I want to do this while it's hot, because in the meantime I'm going to heat the butter and cream. As you can see, there's about even amounts in there to the potato. But you know what you're looking for. Again, nice pipeable consistency. If you need any more butter or cream, feel free to heat it up. I'm just going to add some black pepper and mixed herbs into the mash. Add a little bit of salt. So I'm going to use the spatula now to fold it in. Just keep going until you've got that nice consistency. Now it won't look as smooth as mash with normal potatoes because the starch content is a little different in a sweet potato. You do get a lovely colour. Now we're ready for the piping bags. So you want the oven set to 180 degrees. Pop a bit of your mash in there, into the piping bag, that is. Pipe along. There, so they're going to go in the oven 180 degrees For about half an hour. Well, 25 minutes to half an hour. Because the mix and the topping is already cooked. We're just looking for a nice crisp topping and a bit of colour on those points of the mash. Right, so while they're doing their thing in the oven, I'm going to sort out the garnishes. Again, just some almonds, flaked almonds, which would usually go into the sauce, but you get a bit more of a texture this way. Yeah, so I'll pop them to one side. And now that the pan is nice and hot, we can char some limes. Get a bit fancy. Now we're ready to get plating. Right, so here's my lovely pie, and you can see we've got a nice bit of colour now on the topping. So I'm just gonna sprinkle my toasted almonds now. A bit of texture there. I've got some fresh coriander leaves for a bit of colour. And last but not least, our charred lime. And here we have it, our venison mole pie with the sweet potato mash topping. And yeah, fresh coriander, toasted almonds, and charred lime for garnish. Spread the word, Beth the chef. Join us next week for our final episode of the game selection. And we're going to do a seared duck breast. We're going to make some tagliatelle with our pasta machine. And we're going to do a nice truffle sauce with it. And finish off with a parmesan crisp. Bon appetit!